The person you have called is not available. Please leave a short 10-second message after the tone and we'll send the message as a text.
It's so hard to start these things, right? Because you come into it and you're trying to be all like perky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know when you do like TV shows? It's like, welcome to Sale of the Century or whatever.
Right. Okay.
That's how I'm starting this week.
Okay.
I'm just talking about how hard the struggle
that
is.
wasn't how you freaking started it, because that sucked.
No, that's how I'm starting it.
Oh.
That's what we're going with.
Oh, no, we're not.
Alright, then you start then. How would you start it?
You gotta say the show, dingus.
They know the show. They've listened to the fucking thing for that long.
Yes, but you've gotta do it anyway.
Jeff, you keep this shit in there, okay?
No.
I'll be mad at you if you edit this out.
Oh, shush.
I like the banter. Alright, can you explain to people what we're going to talk about today, Michelle?
Alright, well, Scotty suggested, believe me, I would never suggest this. He wants to take a trip back to like the 90s or very early 2000s and talk about our adolescence. He wants us to tell a story and, discuss.
This is actually an idea Marissa gave me, where she's like, you know what? Because she listens to a lot of murder mystery kind of podcasts where they talk about like serial killers and stuff, and they have people come on. Yeah. Apparently a lot of women like this sort of thing.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, no, get on it. I think you would love this as well. I think you might like this more than her, actually. Because you like the macabre.
I just like the thought of, revenge.
Oh, yeah?
But anyway, that's not the topic this week.
So she said, why don't you tell a story that other people would find interesting? And I'm like, well, what part of Michelle and my life is interesting that we would want to talk about? So I'm like, oh, well, we both fucking have illnesses and blah, 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 right?
Everyone keeps going back to that. Yes, we have illnesses, but we rock it.
But I don't think that our illnesses are like...
Oh, I've been told so many times, your illness is what makes you amazing.
Holy crap! That's a bit intense.
You're so
what about
amazing.
your delightful...
You need to, build on that. You need to embrace it. I'm like, yeah.
Well, you can, but I don't think that's
right
what makes you
that.
amazing. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Anyway.
Sorry,
so
you go.
Marissa said, tell a story.
Yeah, just tell a story that other people might find interesting. So we're talking about things that happened in our adolescence. Because we're getting old. We always talk...
We are not getting old. We're aging like fine wine.
You might be.
Oh, I am.
I can tell.
Like Richard Gere. Mwah.
Ah, I see.
How old is Richard? He's like 75 and he's still sexy.
Is he?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because Marissa says this all the time, men get better with age, and I just see...
Yeah, no, they do.
It's weird to me.
But Richard Gere married a girl younger than me. I'm like, damn it, I missed the boat.
Maybe she just likes older gentlemen.
Well, I like an older gentleman. He's pretty hot. Although he's got a younger
not that much older. What? Oh, Richard Gere.
Richard Gere's son, but he's too young.
I thought you were talking about Jeff. Like, he's not even, that much older than you, even if he is
Jeff
older. I don't
isn't
even
older
know.
than me.
It's pretty close, though.
Jeff's born in June. I'm born in April.
Oh, 2 months or
yeah,
what?
Well, still younger.
Yeah, anyway. Let's go on to our stories.
All right, you go first.
All right, so we're talking about our adolescence. And I want to tell, the idea is that I'm going to tell Michelle this story, right? Because she wasn't around for this. She wasn't there for this stuff.
I wasn't around for this?
You were not involved in my life at this point.
Harsh.
You didn't miss... You weren't there for this. I knew you, but, you weren't there for this. Because, what you need to understand about this is we thought this was, the coolest thing ever.
But wasn't, was it?
No, it still was, but, So I'm talking about playing music games.
Are you playing?
Particularly Dance Dance Revolution, DDR.
Right.
So
continue.
we used to go to Southland every Wednesday, as you know. We met up with, girls from Kilbreda and stuff.
You can say their names. She likes to listen to this.
Oh, no, it wasn't just Brooke. It was like a bunch of people. Like Trish was there. Brooke was there. Laura came every now and then. Laura played different. Anyway, so there was this machine, right? Music game, whatever. Oh, play this game. Whatever. And we were all bad at it. All bad at it. But and everyone's like, what the fuck are you playing this game for? Like, what draws you to this thing? Like, because I was already playing music games at the time. But the thing about this game that was kind of special was we all met a lot of people through it as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we'd play this game, and the thing about it was that it was like competitive in a way, but it was also like fun. So if you don't know how the game works, you have like an up, down, left, and right arrow thing, and on the screen if it's up, when the arrow hits up, you step on the up. If it's down, you step on down. And as you get harder and harder, the arrows get harder and harder. And it's not really a dancing thing. It's more like stepping on squares in time. It's kind of like stepping to music. It's not really dancing. Because I got into dancing a little bit later than that.
Yeah.
Like actually dancing. Like
Yeah, I was
we were
around
dancing.
for that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I don't know if this. I don't know. I think this was a completely separate thing to dance for me because that was something I was interested in separately. This was more like because I'm really into like skill things. So dancing is a skill-related activity, right?
Yes.
But this was something we did every Wednesday, and we would all meet up at Southland. We'd go have something to eat and whatever, and then we'd play this game for like 3 hours. 3-4 hours. And I was never really the most coordinated person, but this game, there was something about this game because we got better at it and we got good at it. Like when you do well in the game, you pass the song, which means that you didn't fail the song. I know that doesn't mean much, but it means that
I know what you're talking about. It's on the kissing booth.
Oh, yeah, see, this is when things changed because this was like a weird Japanese game at the time. Not many people knew about it. So you could go and and yeah, the hipster part of me comes out, right? Oh, we liked this thing before it got popular or whatever.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
It's like I liked the Gossip Girl books before it became a series.
There you go.
Yeah,
So we're not that
me and
different.
Brianna were ahead of the curve.
You know, off topic, Marissa's been watching the OC.
I quoted the OC yesterday.
Oh my god, I hate that show.
How can you hate that show?
Well, Marissa was watching it and I was fixing her computer in the study. When I heard them talk, something welled up in my chest and yeah, sorry, you think?
Have I made you watch that?
No, I watched it when it was on TV.
Did you?
Not like actively, but it was on.
Okay.
That was like
that show.
03? 02,
Yeah,
03?
now they're old. You
Yeah.
know that, here's something.
Yeah.
You know that Seth Cohen in real life, Adam Brody, married Blair Waldorf from
Okay.
Gossip Girl, and they have a child.
So two completely the same people got married and had a child.
Yeah, but it's like he married the bitch from the Upper East Side.
Okay, can we talk about music games? This is my story.
Okay.
So we play this game every Wednesday for like a few hours, right? And we got pretty good at it. And the thing about this game is because it's skill based, you get a lot of attention playing this game because, you know, you look kind of normal when you're not playing it, but people who are playing those games are not normal people. I tell you, there's something weird about you to want to get that much attention from people and feel good about that. So we would play that game and we got pretty good at it. So we got a lot of attention from people. People would like crowd around us. It was one of those things where it wasn't a small crowd. It wasn't like 2 or 3 people. There was like a circle of people around us. One year, like when we were first getting really good at the game, we went to the Royal Melbourne Show, right?
Oh,
Have I ever told you this story?
I don't know. Just keep going.
We went to the Royal Melbourne Show. The Royal Melbourne Show, if you don't know, is pretty expensive to get in, don't you think?
Yes,
it was
it
like
is. I
back
haven't
then.
gone in years.
Oh, it was like $30 when we went. I don't know how much it costs,
Right.
like when it runs again, but it would be like probably at least $50. I'd say. Don't quote me, but it would be not cheap for what it is. We went to the Melbourne show and they had a Dance Dance Revolution machine at the show. And we literally, because there were so many people, just played the game the whole afternoon. And there was like, crowds of... No, there wasn't a line because it was just us playing it. No one knew how to play the game. But there was like crowds of like 20, 30 people watching us like the whole time we were playing the game. That's for real. So we got a kick out of that. And I met a lot of friends through that game as well. Like, because, we didn't just play it at Southland. We would play it in like the city. We go to, there were arcades in the city that we would play that game at. And for me, it got me into fitness, actually, because I used to be anti-fitness. I used to hate that stuff.
I'm anti-fitness.
I'm not. I've put on weight, but like I hate that I've put on weight because, I haven't actually kept up with it. But I'm still, I train once a week with a personal trainer, but it's not enough. I need to like be running and dancing and stuff like that. Like I'm eating as if I'm training, so I'm gaining weight. That's my own fault. But anyway, that game got me into fitness quite a lot. I just liked playing it. Just got really in shape at the time from playing this game. There was one time I remember, because we played it so much, you'd get home pretty late. I got home, I think Wayne's dad was driving us home. We were all like real sweaty. And I was getting out of the car after a long game of that. And I got a cramp in my leg. So, because I, big old me, not used to be able to do, these things, doing a lot of cardio movement all at once. I got a cramp and I couldn't get up out of his car. I had to lie in the back of his car. I've never had a cramp before.
What?
Yeah, at that point, I'd never had a cramp before.
Okay.
I just started cramping and like in agony. Wayne's in the front seat laughing his ass off.
Of course he is.
Because he's a D word.
He's a lovely boy.
I mean, I love him, but still, he was being a D word. Got out of the car and, had a shower, felt great, but there were all these times. I've met, like, friends playing that game, people who I'm still friends with today, who, have you met Arn and Jake?
Yes.
Jack?
Jack's wedding, wasn't
Jack? Jack played it too, but I met Jack through a different game.
Okay.
Jack's wedding was funny. He at his wedding, like all of his groomsmen were people who he met through music games. So they didn't really know him outside of that because, Jack's a musician and he plays music games. That's how people know him. So at his wedding, one of his groomsmen was like, well, Jack's like the best Stromania player in Australia.
I
And
have a feeling I was at this wedding.
you probably were.
I caught the bouquet.
This was an Oh, you did. Hey, I remember that.
Yeah,
This was an expensive wedding, right? Do you
yeah,
remember
it
where that
very
was?
Nice.
So, there were all these, proper, very fancy, well-off people.
Yeah,
At this
but that
wedding.
place is closed down or it's getting renovated, one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so nice.
I don't know how his family reacted to that. I think it was kind of like my speech at your wedding where, only the people who got it knew what he was talking about.
Because I had a lot of people come up to me and ask me about it.
Oh, really?
And then I had a lot of people going, oh my god, he was so drunk.
No.
No, he was completely sober.
He's just like that.
He's just like that.
I thought my speech wasn't embarrassing like this one.
You were supposed to say something about how good we were together. And
I thought I did.
Nah. You said how great Jeff was.
That's true.
Yeah, but we didn't need a speech about it. It wasn't his day.
Another story about that game was, this probably doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people listening, but the people who listened who were there for that time, it actually means a lot because we all really got close to each other playing this game because, the boys all play games together and whatnot and everything, but the girls got involved in this game as well. Me, Brooke, Trish used to play this game all the time. Travis, do you remember Travis?
I remember Travis.
Travis played this game with us. All these people from our high school got into this game, and then you had later on Aaron playing this game. Sean Crosley was playing this game with us. He was actually really good at it too.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he used to play it like, because he was maybe a year or two younger than us or whatever. But like, it was a really cool thing. For me, it was really cool. I felt cool playing it.
Of course you did.
But it was, I mean, looking back on it now, like what it kind of turned into, it was really nerdy. It became like a really, it was
You
in,
are a nerd.
yeah, I know, but like
You knew
it was,
that, right?
yeah, but because, well, I'm a lot of things. I'm not just a nerd. I'm like a lot of things.
I know, Scotty. You're much more than that.
Oh, thank you. It was so cool. Like, okay, so we had this bet, where this new version of the game came out, and there was this song that was really fast. It was 300 beats per minute. If you know how fast that is, that's very quick. You know what? I actually learned how to clap BPM in music, because of that game.
No.
Because I think.
Right.
Do you know what beats per minute? You know.
Yes, I live with a musician.
Yeah, so I can think of it like a song. Go, okay, clap, 100 BPM, and it'd be like, or clap 300 BPM, and it would be like, like that's pretty close. I got really good at that because of the game. I just think of the song, and for dancing, you have to do that sort of thing a lot. You need to be able to think BPMs and just know them if you're choreographing or whatever. But anyway, so this fast song came out, and we'd cleared every song in the game till that point. And no one could pass it. Like, I still... no, I didn't clear it. But we had this deal before we all quit. The first person to clear it has to buy everyone lunch.
Did anybody buy you lunch?
No, and me and Paul used to play this game a lot. Yeah. Paul got really good at it too. I think, yeah, Paul was real good. Him and I would play, because he's like really competitive with stuff.
Uh-huh.
And like some people...
games with the...
with the Sharplies. Shout out to Paul and Brooke. Man, I miss those guys. But I actually like that quality in Paul, because he's so competitive. I don't take that personally. We like learn from each other to like break things down, because I'm not trying to beat him. Well, I am, but I'm not beating him for my ego. I'm beating him to get better at a skill, and we both kind of do that for each other. So we did that in the game a lot, and I don't know if he ever cleared that song as well. Maybe he did. I don't know. But that was kind of the end of it from there. After we went to uni and stuff, the game kind of died. It was like a 2-year thing, maybe a 3-year thing that we all played this game. And it brought us all...
How old were you?
Oh, sorry. This was all through year 11 and 12.
Okay, so 2001 people.
2000 and probably 3. We started to grow out of it because we had uni and stuff. And then maybe about 3 years later, people caught on to it.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that a lot of people knew about. And
everyone's like, oh my god, you have to play it. I'm like, no, I don't.
You never did play it.
It's not a Michelle thing to do.
It's not a Michelle thing to do. You like games though.
Yeah.
Like, you'll play games.
Arcades have lots of lights that flicker.
That's true.
So I find it very hard to go in there.
Arcades were like really weird places, because we met all these people in the arcades who were like very different to the people we hung out with in school, and I think that was the sorts of introductions to different people outside of school that I really first had. Doesn't that sound weird? But I thought those people were so cool back then.
I bet you did.
And they used to just stand outside the arcade smoking cigarettes and stuff, and like talking shit and whatever. But that's all they used to do. Actually, Jeff was involved with those people too. Not smoking, but we used to go to a music jamming place in Moorabbin, which was still there. And they just, because you could still smoke indoors at that time. So Jack was a drummer, and he had a bunch of friends who were like guitarists, and they needed a piano player. So I'm like, oh, Jeff plays piano. And they just used to smoke cigarettes and play music. That's kind of just what they did, right? I learned a little bit of drumming from Jack, and I just sort of learned the coordination for basic rhythms and stuff. And dancing helps with that too. But I I used to smell like cigarettes every Thursday or Tuesday, but my parents thought I was smoking because my clothes just stunk. Like I'd come home, they're like, every Thursday you come home and you smell like cigarettes. Are you smoking? No, I'm not actually. I'm not smoking. I would have lied anyway, but I wasn't. And they did not believe me until I said, no, I've got a friend who, Jeff plays music in their band with. This sort of sounds super nerdy, but at the time, it was the coolest thing ever.
I bet it was.
It was so cool.
Ah.
Did I ever tell you? I know that's your, like, I'm done listening to you sound, but can I tell
Oh my god, yeah, it is.
This wasn't going to be a popular Michelle topic, but I just sort of wanted to tell this story.
Like, really? We done yet?
No. This is why I wanted you to go first, because your stories are going to be...
I don't really have a story.
Well, this is
Mine
like
are
a
like
series.
Scandalous.
Yeah, see, this is more like nostalgia and like looking, because that's what I do.
This is more for idiots.
It's not for idiots. It's for like, but my friends and like people who weren't there for that to kind of understand how important that time was. It's more for like feelings of people like, I guess Paul and Brooke to go, yeah, man, that was fun, that was cool, and
I know
maybe
Brookie listens to us.
Yeah, I think she'd be really happy hearing about this stuff because it was like... I
think she'd be really happy that we mentioned her.
We mentioned her before.
Yeah, and she gets really excited about it.
She told me once, she's like, man, I love your podcast, but I hate it because it's like...
she told me that she wants to join in and like...
She's like, yeah.
Part of the discussion. I'm like, well, that's never going to happen.
You gotta wait till summer to do that. Or
You and I run this thing.
Yeah, you're right. But she can talk to us. It's just not the same, right?
No.
There was another story I wanted to tell from that time that was... now this was a funny story. I'm gonna get Paul in a bit of trouble, but I'm gonna tell the story anyway.
Oh, don't get him in trouble.
No. So Paul used to wag school. He was a bit rebellious and used to just not go to classes sometimes.
See? Sometimes you need to do that.
I mean, I agree, because we used to, like, we were like, oh, we're so rebellious, we're going to drive to McDonald's in our cars and get, like, chicken nuggets for lunch, la-di-da kind of thing, right?
Chicken nuggets? You could do better than that, but...
Well, kids in school nowadays just do that. They're like, well, yes, so? You could go to McDonald's and get Uber Eats to the school if you really wanted to.
Yeah, well, it wasn't as simple back then. It was harder.
Well, you
had to work for it.
Can you imagine in year 12, like, just openly going, hey, do you want Macca's? And then going and get Macca's? And how much of a big deal that would have been back then?
Yeah, I just remember how fun it was to go across the street and get something and then bring it back.
Oh my god, that was good. Plus, you're a Kilbreda. You could go to that bakery, you know, the one next to Coles in Mentone.
Yeah, they're not as great as they used to be.
Is it because they got a different baker, or is that baker just old?
Maybe. I don't know, they just seem to have that very little there when you go in.
But every one of our friends played Dance Dance Revolt DDR at that time. Like, Ben played it, Rob played it. The only person who didn't really play it was Andrew, actually. He was all for it. He would, like, watch us and stuff. But, like, he didn't really want to play it all that much.
Fair enough.
But pretty much all of our friends played that game. What was that? Oh, so the wagging school story. Okay, so the new version of this... So there was an arcade in Box Hill that got all the new games because they just...
Is that the one near Hills?
Yeah, it's across the road. Well, it's not anymore, but it used to be.
Oh.
Across the road from Hills. Okay. They used to get the new games every... Like, when they were new.
I've been there because somebody dragged me there.
I think... So you probably would have been there a few times. I stopped going there for a while because of uni and stuff. And because in the arcade we played at, it was pretty simple. They only kept that machine up to date because we would spend like, you know, $200-300 a week, all of us playing that game, like as much as we could because we were playing it all the time. So they were like, wow, this game, right? They still got it at Southland, actually.
I know.
They brought a new one in. But no one plays it because we don't play it anymore. And there's no real, like, people around to play it. But, so this new version of the game came out that morning. They installed it because that place used to open at, like, 8 o'clock. and Paul and I had like a double free period in the morning.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Well,
If you
it
miss
does.
it, there's nothing
It
to
does.
miss.
It does.
Oh, I've done that before.
Because we're in Mentone, and there's a bus that goes up Warrigal Road from Mentone to Box Hill, and that's like a what 30-minute drive,
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
a
it
bit
is.
longer. So it's a fair distance, right?
Well, especially because the bus stops.
Stops. So it would have taken about 45 minutes to get to
Right.
Mentone, right? So it would have taken us about an hour to get from Mentone to St. Bede's from Box Hill. And Paul's going to love this story because I was a good boy. I didn't skip classes or anything. I never skipped a class
So
except for this
you were
one
like
time.
not a rebel? You were not living on the edge?
Not really.
I was living on the edge.
You lived in Mentone though, so you could kind of get away with it. You could just go
Yes,
home
but
if
I
you
used
wanted to.
like skip classes.
See, I never did that stuff. This is the one time I did, and it wasn't even on purpose.
You haven't lived.
I mean, at uni I did.
Oh,
still do.
You have to. That's what
You don't
day
have to.
drinking's all about.
Oh man, don't. That's a story for another time. So the new version of this game came out, and you don't like. It sounds really nerdy, but you don't understand how cool this game was. It was so cool, and it's actually like a really important part of our lives, in my opinion. Anyway, so we caught the bus all the way to Box Hill. That arcade opened at like 8 in the morning, right? I don't know why. Maybe for people like Paul and I to get there and not go to school and play this game. And we played this game for like 2 hours. Paul says to me, okay, we've had our fun. This was a really good time. We played and, did our thing. And it was good. We had fun. It was true. And I said, I'm going to play one more game because I was also into a different game. And I played this like hours a day back then in year 12. I would go to the library and play a different game, right? Different music game. Beat Mania.
Oh.
Love Beat Mania. Like hours. I'd go to school and I'd be playing that game, whenever I could, playing it. I love that game. Different music game.
Yeah.
But I played this song and I said if I pass the song, I've got another game stage to play. But I won't pass it. It's too hard for me. He's like, okay, fair enough. So I played the game, passed the song, and Paul's like, we're going to miss our bus. We're going to miss our bus and we're going to be late. And that's on you. I'm like, well, we've missed the bus, whatever. So I played the song. Sure enough, we went back to the shopping centre in Box Hill and we missed our bus, So we got to school, because we got to school at about lunchtime because the double period we missed, recess had run out. The next bus was like 45 minutes to an hour later because I think one or two were like cancelled or something. And we got to school like halfway through lunch and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so much trouble. And the funny thing about it was because Paul was skipping classes a lot, the school was kind of, well, not a lot, but because he was skipping classes, they thought that Paul was a bad influence on me, corrupting me. Whereas in reality, I was an idiot and just wanted to play the game for a bit longer. And I got him in trouble. They're like, well, because we made up some lie, like, we catch the same bus together and it didn't come. So it was a lie based on fact, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So they're like, so long as it doesn't happen again, I guess that's okay. Jeff was involved in this stuff as well.
Jeffrey is a good boy.
Don't think he didn't get down on the...
No, Jeffrey and I have had a talk about, like, how many classes I skipped. And he's horrified.
Really?
He's horrified.
Really? I knew that you were like... Because you would just go home, right? You would be like in school.
Yeah, I just wouldn't show up.
Get coffee in Mentone. Like literally go across the road, go to like a cafe and just get a coffee and hang out. I know about your tricks. I've heard this all before. See, the things that were like so impressive when we were adolescents are like to anyone now, it's like, well, okay, you can go to Coles and you can get a can of soft drink before school and okay. But back then that was like the coolest thing you could ever do, right? To me it was anyway, probably exaggerating a little bit.
No, it was a big deal.
Dance Dance Revolution. Because, you know, what's funny about that is I don't think that's what made me into a dancer, but it definitely made me into a performer. Because the crowds and stuff, the people who would watch us, I'm not exaggerating, there'd be like 20, 30 people watching us play at once. And because of that, I do not have an issue performing with my dancing
Of course
stuff.
not. It could also be the fact that you are such an energetic little thing.
I'm not a little thing.
You're taller than me, but most people are.
That game did a lot. Got me into fitness. I started running after that. Got a few people into running after that. Got Sean Lindsay into it. He still runs. I'm just a fat lump of coal. He's like, oh, better go for a run. He loves it. Got that guy into running. I'll take credit for that. Thank you. Rebecca got him more into running like later, like to push him. But like, oh, Jeremy, my God. Do you want to hear a funny story about Jeremy in that game? See, this is why I wanted you to go first, because I'll talk your ear off about it and no one's going to care. But Jeremy, we had to write a thing in school that's the thing we're most proud of. And Jeremy wrote the thing that he's the most proud of was he cleared this really hard song in DDR. And the teacher was just like, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you're proud of that, Jeremy. And I'm like, yeah, I felt that way when I cleared that song too.
Wow, that's exciting.
It was. But those are all my stories, and there's a lot of good memories there. And
See, my stories are not really...
Alright, well, I'll let you talk, because I told you my story, right? You tell me a story.
I don't really... Seriously, my adolescence is like a blur.
Same, actually.
But I did read my diary from the age of like 18 to 25. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but I was an idiot. The end.
Same.
No,
had
there
some
was
really
one
shit
story, like I'll go on from you.
Yeah.
Me and my very, very good friend Stephanie.
Aw.
Yeah, Seffi, as she loves to be called. So we were supposed to be in class, but we weren't. And so we ran across the road and we went and got coffee. And then we came back and we got busted by the gardener. And he asked for our names and we gave fake names.
Okay, fake name.
Oh yeah, I was on the ball. And he's like, what class are you in? We're like, we said a different class. And Stephanie has, like, even now she does it with her daughter, but she does the most perfect braids in her hair. So after that, she, like, changed her hairstyle. She changed my hairstyle so we couldn't be found.
Wow.
That's dedication. And the coffee was good, and that is the main thing.
Did your mum know about that?
She does now.
Would she be disappointed or would she find it funny?
Oh, look, it doesn't matter now, does it?
I mean,
we're grown-ups.
It might.
Well, yeah.
I'm never telling my parents about this podcast, that's for sure.
Really? My
Yeah.
dad's listened to a little bit of it.
I'm glad he has.
I think he got bored.
Yeah, I mean, we're
That's
pretty
okay.
boring. To us, we have a great time, but
Chris listens to it. My brother.
yeah.
It's his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
He's not going to hear this for like 5 weeks.
Well, he'll be happy about getting a happy birthday.
I saw him today for lunch.
Aw.
It was a nice time.
Give us some adolescence. Get salty with us. Tell us.
Okay. Well, I spoke to my really good friend today and asked her. We used to do this thing at parties. So we used to have like a party and then something dramatic would happen as per usual. And we had this thing where like one of us would go into the bathroom and then 5 minutes later the other one would go into the bathroom. And then by the end of the night, it was like 5 girls in a bathroom just talking.
How is that different from adult life? That's what you guys do at my parties.
No, it's not.
Our bathroom's kind of too small to have 5 girls there, but
But like, yeah, and we'd just be discussing what was happening at the party. And then eventually they'd be like, where are Michelle and Dion and Jen and Brianna? Where are they? And we were in the bathroom discussing life and all its issues.
what sort of conversations were you having in the bathroom?
Well, it was more like the boys that we used to hang out with were idiots, except one. And, it was just like the things that they used to do and the things they used to say. Like, it was just...
What did they used to do and say?
It's all like a blur, but it would be like one of them would say that he was in love with someone, and then he would go kiss somebody else. And he'd say, oh, I did it because I know I can't be with you because you're too good for me.
Where do 17 and 18-year-olds learn this crap? This sounds like your life is like a bloody teen drama.
Oh my god.
I thought you'd have better stories than like, oh, we got coffee and changed our hair. I'm not making fun of you saying that's a bad story, but like...
It's a great story. We didn't get busted.
I got busted.
We didn't get busted. Girls are smarter than boys, clearly.
That's a bit sexist.
No, I can think on my feet. Because Steph kind of was like, And I'm like, wow, our names are Susan and, Karen or something. I gave really bad names. But, we got the job done. I don't know. I don't really have, a story from my adolescence. It's not something I'd really want to relive.
Can I draw? Neither would I. Can I draw? Because a lot of people, kind of reminisce on that time and go, yeah, wouldn't mind going back in time. I'm like...
Oh, I would.
Absolutely.
I don't want to do that. Just, I remember the way boys used to make me feel. I gave boys too much power. Because, I wanted a big grand romance. And obviously, when you're, 17, you don't get that.
Not for much later.
Yeah. Well, I don't reckon I dated anyone of substance till I was, 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, that's the first time you fall in love or the second time you fall in love, I guess.
The first time I fell in love was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute disaster.
It's not a bad thing.
No, but the thing is, everyone around us, and I mean everyone was a casualty.
Everyone was a casualty?
Everybody was a casualty.
How?
Because everybody had to live through this crap. And I apologize. But it was like a big grand romance and, we were going to end up together and, go get married. And we weren't going to do that. We were 16.
Because when you're 16, you make terrible decisions, right? And you say some awful shit and you do some really bad stuff.
When we had a fight, we would get someone else involved to fix it.
Why didn't you? Yeah, okay.
And then they'd be like, there was another party involved that had feelings for me at the time.
Oh, so you were in a triangle?
No, because the other person didn't know that the other person had feelings for me. He didn't tell me till after I broke up with this person.
Oh.
And then he was like, by the way, I have feelings for you. I'm like, that's very sweet. But I'm kind of tormented from what I have just lost.
You're a heartbreaker.
I am not a heartbreaker. I don't think. I haven't broken many hearts.
I don't think women found me attractive till I was a lot older.
How many hearts have I broken?
I don't even know. Obviously more than one, from what you're telling me. Because there's two people in that story.
Oh, yeah, but these people were younger. They bounced right back.
It's true. That is true.
One of them, I still talk to all the time.
Okay. All the time? I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about, but...
Well, I talk to him a bit. He's a very sweet boy.
Okay.
The other one that I was dating, I don't talk to. It's not necessary.
See, I didn't start dating till, uni, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a bad thing.
I met your first girlfriend.
You did.
I did.
That's true. That's funny. That was a very long time ago.
Yeah. She was nice.
Yeah. You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
And that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad things worked out the way they did, though.
Well, yeah, because you got with Marissa.
Yeah, but all the because I did some bad shit.
Yes.
I wasn't a bad person, but I did a lot of stuff that
You neglected this girl.
yeah,
Yes.
but like, even before that, I did a lot of bad shit. Like things that I'm like, yeah, I don't feel very happy about that I did that.
What'd you do?
I said a lot of things that were like unnecessary. Looking
To
back,
her or like just in general?
no, in general, not just
Okay.
yeah, just to people. Like it was just dumb. It's like, but like it needed to be said. Like I learnt from like that was not the
But-
right thing to say. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
But it's also like when you're 20 something, you think you know everything. And now that we're in our 30s, we know that we knew nothing.
I think I was a more responsible adult when I was in my mid-20s than I am now.
Really?
Absolutely.
I think I'm much more responsible now.
I'm smarter now, but I act more like a child now.
I wouldn't say I'm smarter. I don't think I have like book smarts. I don't think.
No, you do.
I think I've got like street smarts.
Yeah, you have both. Because keep in mind, when I was in my mid-20s, I was like taking over my boss's business
Yeah.
and like paying people's wages and like running a business, trying to sell a business. I saved a school like 100 and something grand because, you know, I was able to make a business deal and figure out how to pass my work on to someone else because my boss died. Like that's for a 20, how was I, 27 or 28-year-old? That's a big ask. That was a hard thing to do. Now I'm in my mid-30s and I am living the adolescent life. You know, the like you know when you're an adolescent in your 20s. Like I had a lot of responsibility in that job. I probably should have left that job a long time before I did.
Yeah.
But I like, to be perfectly honest, that job was, I don't think I'll ever feel like we were a family. Like we were an actual family in that role. So like in terms of where you come from, you know, when you're like a teenager and where you go, all of these things sort of mold together because like someone like you as well would probably feel the same thing. Like all the decisions you made back then kind of inspire you to be who you are now, right? Because all the dumb things you do,
Oh,
you,
God.
you kind of be a mentor to the people.
I look
in
back and I hate that girl.
Really?
My teenage self should be ashamed of herself.
Really?
I'm just like rereading I used to kiss lots and lots of boys.
You're supposed to kiss lots and lots of boys.
No, but like it was like I was feeling bad, so I kissed somebody. I obviously had zero self-esteem.
Really?
Well, look, it wasn't great. And I'm just like rereading this thing because of my book and it will go in there, but it kind of makes me look trashy. And I wouldn't say I'm trashy. Like I wasn't getting around, if you know what I mean.
You're not trashy.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
Yeah, you're not trashy at all.
yeah, I don't. No.
I would have kissed a lot of girls, but no one wanted to kiss me.
Aw.
That's all.
Oh.
You know, so like, no, I mean, I think if you like, you would have been pretty good looking at that time anyway. So I mean,
I found photos of like, I think 2004. I
yeah.
think it was at like, would it be 2005? It was like of me and Ben and Maddie.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, I sent it to him. He's like, look how young we were. I'm like,
Ben and I are the same age. Ben, you and I are the same age, and Maddie's like maybe 4 years younger than us, 3 or 4 years
yeah,
younger.
Maddie
actually.
looks the same.
Yeah, true. She does actually. She's in her 20s. She's married and stuff. And
She'd be in her 30s.
no, shut up.
She'd be like 29.
You know,
30-ish.
She's someone who's connected to me in more than one way, like through family. It's weird.
Maddie.
Yeah. Maddie is a friend of ours who
She's
my mum worked with Maddie's mum.
Oh, did she?
Yep. And this was just some random.
Maddie worked with Stevie,
Steven's your half brother.
stepbrother.
Oh yeah, I have a half brother. You have a
We
step brother.
don't
That's right.
share any DNA, which is upsetting.
You just love each other.
Yeah, he's my boy. I love Stevie.
I don't think we really knew each other that well as adolescents.
Who, you and I?
Yeah.
We didn't. We didn't really
We-
get to know each other till I started at your
Uni.
uni.
At our
Well,
uni.
Yeah, well, it was your uni first. I reckon I was about 19 or 20. And then you and I became really, really close friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would we have liked each other, like, when we were teenagers? Like, if we were really close? I don't know.
I was a lot like someone you were really close to.
Not in personality. I mean, like, personally.
There was certain...
No, there's not.
Yes, there were.
No, there's not.
Not anymore, but when we were
No, but even
teenagers-
back then there was.
Trust me.
Shut up.
Don't
That's
tell
not
me
true.
to shut up.
I'm not being disrespectful.
You are
I'm
being
like, you're wrong.
disrespectful.
You're just wrong.
I don't know, like I was super, super, super close.
So if you're not paying attention, we're talking about a particular person, Brooke, and Michelle is saying I'm a lot like Brooke. Brooke is like this super smart book genius, right? And Michelle is like this super smart social genius. They're I don't know how to make this me not sound like an asshole. I've just insulted both of you.
Yeah! Expect
Sorry,
a call
Brooke.
from Brooke.
I don't, Brooke. You know I love you. I'm sorry.
I'd love to be more like Brooke.
I wish I was
I'd
more
love
like
to get Brooke Smarts. Do you
Brooke
know that?
Smarts. She'd love to hear that. She'd love to hear Brooke Smarts, man.
I'd love to get Brooke Smarts, but unfortunately, there's only one crazy smart girl.
You were not you weren't the same personality. You might have looked similar, but
We
you
did
were not.
look very similar.
You weren't the same.
We were very close. We had freeze together and got nothing done.
Yeah, but you're not the same personality.
Wow.
What you were claiming.
I don't know. I was a mess when I was a teenager.
Yeah, we all were.
All I wanted was somebody to love me.
Aw.
And that's true.
What's with that? Why don't we?
Oh, because I used to watch a lot of rom-coms, and that's what happens. Knight in shining armor syndrome.
Oh, the prince is gonna save
The
you.
prince is going to save the day. And you know, in reality, girls, you have to save yourself.
Damn.
Because you know why? Men can't get off their asses to do it.
What's with that, man? There's no need to go in hard on that.
Well,
Women just end up becoming babysitters, and men end up getting jobs and being children.
what?
Big ones. What?
I think I missed.
Nah, you didn't miss anything. I'm just venting.
But yes. I don't know. I was very much like into Dawson's Creek.
So you characterize your life by the TV shows you were watching at the
Yeah,
time.
pretty much. Because, like, I don't know who I was. Like, I was very quick-witted. I know that much.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I was kind and caring. I don't know, it was funny. People thought I was hilarious.
You're still funny. That's why we do a podcast.
Well, yes, but you're the funny one.
No, I'm not.
Well, you're pretty funny.
I am funny, but I'm not the funny one. We're both funny. That's why it's boring from time to time.
I don't know. I don't know what I was like as a teenager. Ask Brooke. She was there.
She was there.
Shani Manal was there.
Yeah.
I was boy crazy. That's what Chantal would say. I'm trying to think
You were in love, like,
with everybody.
really?
Oh,
How many boys were you in love with in school?
like actual real life boys?
Yes, actual real life boys, not like pop stars or TV actors
Okay.
who don't exist.
There was like the first guy I dated seriously,
Yeah.
and we only dated for like 3 months.
So that's one.
And obviously the boy that I kept coming back to.
Two.
And then that's in high school.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's it.
We're not going back to primary school boyfriends, like the guy you like one playtime you build a sandcastle with, and that's your boyfriend. I'm not talking about that.
There's
What?
none of that.
I had a girlfriend like that.
I didn't.
Shout outs to her.
So, yes. So there was that one, and then there was the boy that I kept coming back to. So we had like sort of an on and off thing. He would play with my emotions, and I would play with his. It was a freaking
Toxic.
It was nightmare. It was a nightmare, and that didn't end till I was 21. So I met this boy when I was 16.
You were 21.
Yeah, well, I dated him at my 21st. I was with him.
Was I your 21st?
Yes, you were. You were there. Yeah, I was with him at the time.
Well, we were at uni. I think I was. Well, I wasn't finishing
but I
uni.
was with him at the time, and then we broke up like 2 days after my party.
It's weird to think that like your adolescence travels into like your uni life.
Well, yeah. And then, like, after that, I started dating someone of substance.
Yeah.
And I dated him for quite a while.
Yeah.
But, since that, like, the boy that I was on and off with, we were trying to be friends. Fuck off.
We talked about that before. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, right?
So, like, after that, I kind of, like, because of my new boyfriend, and I knew his friends, and I liked his friends,
Yeah.
I started hanging out with them more, and, like, my ex-boyfriend that was on again, off again, became a distant memory.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like it.
Can you put Jeff on the microphone for a sec? I want to tell you a story. I want everyone to hear how much Jeff likes this story. Okay. So do you remember that time I was at your house, and I got a message from a girl I liked at the time, and I dropped my Nokia 3310 on my face?
Is that why you dropped it?
Yeah.
I didn't really care why you dropped it. It was fucking funny.
You laugh at that shit like...
I-
I've done so many funny things that are like based on me being clumsy. Split my pants open when I was like in year... How old was I? Ben was behind me. We were playing tunnel ball, and I split my pants open, and he had my underwear and bum in his face the whole time, and he still hasn't forgiven me for that.
I wouldn't either.
He didn't like that.
Look, I've got some pretty funny stories about Jeffrey, falling over things.
Yeah, but you live with Jeffrey falling over things.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
He-
I wish I could make, like, a blooper reel.
My life with Jeffrey when we were teenagers was, like, so sedate. We would, like, draw, paint and stuff together.
Dude, that's so cute.
Yeah, but Jeff got mad because I couldn't draw... Like, if I made a mistake on a piece of paper, I'd just throw it away. Jeff's like, stop wasting paper. Just, like, draw on the same page. And I'm like... See, this sounds really dumb to everyone. I'm sure this is, like, not interesting at all. But Jeff used to get really, really mad. Like, just draw on the same page.
Really?
Yeah, he got real mad about that. He only really got mad at me once, but, like, I could tell it really annoyed him.
You do a lot of stupid things.
That's true. I still do.
I know. I think it must be in your DNA.
Oh, I'm just a Homer Simpson kind of guy.
But, like, Jeff's whole family are very clumsy. It's not just him.
Yeah. I don't think he's that clumsy.
Aw, he tried to be a hero.
What'd he do?
And he jumped over the table and almost hit his head on the side of the...
When Jeff, like, hurts himself, that is hilarious.
It is!
That is hilarious. Everyone's like, Jeff's so quiet until you see him hurt himself and he yells.
You haven't lived.
That's funny, man.
But he was like, oh my... I'm like, this is why we don't run in the house.
What, because you bump your feet on
Well,
something?
he almost, like, seriously, he almost, like, knocked himself out.
What?
So he jumped over the coffee table because someone knocked at the door and it was his Uber Eats.
Oh, yeah.
So he got very excited because he was hungry.
Yeah.
But he tripped over the cord and he didn't jump far enough either.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he almost hit his head on the side of the TV cabinet.
Yeah.
So he almost knocked himself out.
Oh, my God.
And then he was like, and then he got the food. And I'm like, see, this is why we don't run. You see? Your food would have been there anyway.
Why are we so boring? I think this is like one of the worst podcasts we've ever done because this is only funny to us. And like the 5 people we know who actually were there for these things to have happened. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. I'm having fun doing it, but it's just us talking about stuff that... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mean to be a downer or anything, but like, oh my god. If you listen to this up until now, like, thank you, but why? If you weren't there for it, this won't...
Should we quit it?
No, I'm not trying to say we should quit it, but like, we should do like a Patreon-only podcast where it's literally just us talking shit.
On what?
Like, that, like, people who would have to pay for it could hear. And, like, actually go full hard in the paint about it.
I have no idea what you just said.
Okay. Okay. I had a funny story to tell, but I can't remember where I was going with it.
Wow.
Oh, well, you know I was a drinker, right?
Oh, I know. You got me in trouble.
I did get you in trouble. That's a story for another
okay.
time. I stopped drinking because of my seizures. Oh, it comes back to epilepsy in the end.
Does. Should we bid farewell?
I mean, I guess so, but I feel like it's my fault.
It's always your fault.
Let's do a conclusion, at the very
In
least.
conclusion, our adolescents are behind us, and we are better people for living through the crap. And look at us now.
I have so much hope for the future when I think about
So
me
do
as
I.
like an 18-year-old. I was like
Oh,
such
I
an
had
idiot.
so much. I was going to do this, and I was going to be famous by the time I was 25. That did not happen.
No, it didn't.
But-
Let's leave it there, I guess.
Alright. Well, what are we doing next week?
I haven't thought about it.
Me neither. We'll surprise you.
We'll have a conversation on air and you guys can, I guess if you know us, get something out of it, but if you don't...
If you
I don't know,
don't.
yeah.
If you don't know us and you listen to this, just go with it.
People will be listening to this around Christmas time, you know that.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know what we could talk about is Christmas. Do you want to do a Christmas episode next
Sure.
week?
Next week.
So next week, we're going to talk about Christmas. Because we should plan ahead.
Yeah.
That's just off the top of my dome. Right?
Okay.
But we're going to do a Christmas episode next week. I don't know where it's going to go.
Oh, I do.
But it's going to be fun.
Alrighty.
No more movies, though. Oh, my God.
Alrighty. Well,
Have a lovely week, everybody.
Yes.
With that, I'll talk to
Bye.
you next week. Bye, Michelle.